Okay guys, we're going to continue with our converting or changing. Okay, and this time we're actually going to do two parts. We're going to do decimals to percents and then percents back to decimals. Okay, and so let's start with changing decimals to percents. And let me pick a good color here that'll show up nice. Let's try green. We don't do that one very often. Alright, so first thing you're going to do, blow this up a little bit more. To change from decimals to percents, what you're going to do is, well, all you're going to do is you're going to move the decimal 2 times to the right. That's it. That's the notes. Okay, and really what you're doing here, okay, you're actually multiplying by 100, okay, but the basics to it, and whenever you multiply it by 100, you just make it, you just move the decimal 2 times to the right, and that's what you'll get. So the basics to changing a decimal to percents is just moving the decimal 2 times to the right. So if you look over here, right, we have the number 3 and 29 hundredths, okay, and we want to change that to a percent. So all you do, move the decimal 2 times to the right, and you're done. And then you put a percent sign at the end. That's the extent of it, okay? That's how hard this is, okay? So the try these there, pause it for a second, do the try these. Remember, it's always 2 times, so even if you only have one number, okay, you still need to go 2 times. So go twice, and then if you have to, go ahead and add a 0 to fill in that last decimal place, okay? So don't forget, it's always, 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 always 2 times. Okay, now give it a pause and let it go. Okay, so the first one, pretty simple. You got 4 and 75 hundredths. So if you move the decimal 2 times, you go 1, 2. Your decimal's there at the end. So we have 475. And if it's at the end, you don't really need to add a decimal, right? So you just put percent. So 4.75 is equal to 475%. Okay? All right, now, if you're looking at 3.2 or 3 and 2/10, we still have to move it 2 times, right? So we go 1, 2, okay, but we don't have a number in there, so we add a 0. So this becomes now 320%. So to change from the decimal to percent, you always move 2 times, right? Now we have 19 on this last one. Well, 19 doesn't have a decimal, so hopefully you already know, okay, hopefully you remember that if you don't have a decimal, it's actually at the end, right? Because if I put it at the beginning, you don't have 19 anymore, right? You have 19 hundredths. Okay, well if I put it at the end, I still have 19. Okay, now, same thing though. I still have to move it 2 times to change it to a percent. So I go 1, 2, so there it's at the end now, and I have to fill in those 2 spots. So now I have 1900%. I feel like I need to draw something on there. Sorry, it's just bugging me. I see this little, it almost looks like a little smiley face, so I feel like I need to do this. It looks like a, whoop. Sorry, that was just a little fun thing for me. All right, let's move down now. Okay, so changing decimals to percents, you move the decimal 2 times to the right. Okay, well, here's the hard part about changing the opposite. Okay, so here's the second thing now. Okay, if you need to, pause for a second and go back over a couple more of the decimals to percents. Okay, because it's going to confuse you just a little bit. You have to make sure you keep them straight. Now, if you change percents to decimals, guess what? You move the decimal 2 times, but this time you move it to the right. To the left. Oh, I'm going to erase that. That's really bad. Okay, you're going to move it 2 times to the left. Okay, so decimals to percents, you go to the right. Percents to decimals, you go to the left. Okay, so if you start off with a percent sign, the decimal's trying to get away from the percent sign. So you got to go left. Okay. Alright, so try these. So give those a shot down there at the bottom and see what happens. And remember, you always have to move 2 times. Even if there's more than 2 spaces, you only move twice. If there's less than 2 spaces, you have to move twice. So make sure you go enough. Okay, so give those a shot. Alright, so we have 15 and 6/10%. Okay, so to change it to a decimal, we go 2 times to the left. So that would be 0.156, and we drop our percent sign. Okay, left the percent sign in the dust. All right, 292 and 3/10. Okay, still only 2 times. We're not going to the end. We're only going 2 times. So my answer is 2 and 923 thousandths. Okay, and that's it. And finally, we have 57 hundredths percent. So we're going to go 1, 2, to add in our zeros. Okay, maybe I'll draw a little hair there. No, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted again. So our answer is 0.0057, or 57 ten-thousandths. Okay, and that's the extent of it. Now I'm gonna show you a little trick. Hopefully this will help you remember if you're having a hard time. Okay, what I like to do is this. I put them in order. So I go D and P, decimals and percents, right? Okay, and then what I do is I draw a little arrow that goes back and forth between them. And so here's the trick. If you put them in order, okay, alphabetically, D and P, okay, if you want to go from decimals to percents, you should know that you need to move 2 times to the right. Okay, because they're alphabetical, and to go from D to the P, you have to go to the right. Now, if you want to go from percents to decimals, okay, that would be the opposite, because you're going to have to go back to the left to get to the D if you go alphabetical. Okay, so 2 times to the right for decimals to percents, 2 times to the left for percents to decimals. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to you. We'll give you lots and lots of practice on it. We'll probably put a few things together on these ones, so hopefully that makes sense to you.